Nearly 2 years after Michael Jackson's death and the trial of his doctor, Conrad Murray, is being delayed once again. His attorneys have been granted a postponement until September. And when that trial does resume, Jackson's mother, Katherine, plans to be in court every day. She's raised Jackson's children since his death and has a brand new project of her own. Mrs. Jackson, good morning. It's nice to see you.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you with us, and I have so much I'd like to talk to you about. Let me start with what is making news right now, if you don't mind. This trial has been delayed. It will start in September again. You were in the preliminary hearing every day, and that struck me because you didn't have to be there. You could have followed it from a distance. Why did you feel the need to be in that courtroom?
Well, I just felt I had to be there. I was there with him every day when his last trial was, and I wouldn't feel right if I wasn't there.
Was it difficult, though, for you to be in the courtroom with someone who's accused of, in some ways, being responsible for your son's death?
Yes, it is very difficult to listen to him lying, and very difficult just looking at him knowing that he was there to see after my son, and he died under his care, and I thought he was very negligent, so that makes me feel really bad. I can't stand to look at him.
I know you've done your homework on this, Mrs. Jackson, and you know the evidence that will be presented against Dr. Murray in court. Do you feel the prosecution has a strong case?
I do.
And do you think?
And I hope this. And I'm hoping this lawyer gets what he deserves.
The punishment, if Dr. Murray is convicted, this is involuntary manslaughter after all, and I believe the maximum sentence is 4 years in prison. How does that sit with you?
Not good at all. I think if someone's under a doctor's care, especially a doctor, and they die with him, seeing over him, I think that 4 years is not enough for, it's not enough for anyone losing their life under someone else. I think they should pay, just like they've taken the life away from my son. I think he should pay for it.
In the last several years, you have become the principal guardian of Michael's children, Prince, Paris, and Blanket. And are they curious? Are they interested in following the trial, or are they off doing the things that children their ages would typically do?
They're off doing the things that children should do. I don't talk about it with them. I don't want them, they're young, and I want them to be happy. And that would make them very sad, so I don't talk about them.
Can you give
the case or Michael's?
Can you give me an update on them? I mean, there's so much curiosity and interest in Prince and Paris and Blanket. I think Prince is 14, Paris is 12 by my recollection, and Blanket is 9. How are they doing?
They're doing fine. Blanket is waiting for his teacher right now. He's homeschooled, and the other two has gone to school. They go to private school, so they've left for school this morning.
What is Prince like? I mean, you know, at 14 years old, that's sometimes a turbulent age.
It really is. It's the age they start, I hate to say, but it's the age they start watching little girls, got girlfriend or something like that, but it's just puppy love. So, and then Paris is fine, and the baby's still playing, and he loves his little characters and things like that, and so his room is decorated in all these characters that he likes, and he's doing just fine, and all of them are.
We spoke on the phone not long ago. Actually, it wasn't long after Michael's death, Mrs. Jackson, and you said you were very, very concerned but interested in making sure that the legacy of your son was preserved. How do you ensure that the legacy is preserved with his own children? Do you talk to them a lot about Michael? Do they ask you a lot of questions?
Sometimes, but the children, they talk about Michael all the time. Paris has his pictures all over her room, and they all have his pictures in their rooms. I have pictures of him hanging in the house, but I don't have any in my room. It makes me sad to see him, so just have them hanging around in the house.
Is there a favorite picture of Michael that you have, Mrs. Jackson?
Not really. I like all of them, to tell you the truth.
You said
as being a favorite.
No, okay. You said in an interview not long ago in the Associated Press, or with the Associated Press, that there are a lot of lies about your son out there and misconceptions. If you could set some of them straight right now, what would you like to tell people?
Well, the first thing I'd like to tell them that as far as Michael being a child molester, that's the biggest lie ever been told. Sometimes we talked about it, and sometimes we'd be sitting around and he said, "Mother, just think. The thing that I care about most is children." And he did. He loved children. And he said, "I've been accused of the worst thing in the world, and that's molesting children. I'd rather slit my own wrist than to hurt a child." And it really hurt him, and he had to live with this. These lies that people were telling.
There was a childlike quality to your son, Mrs. Jackson, and the way he conducted his life. He was surrounded by children a lot, especially at Neverland, a place that I visited not long after his death. Did you ever talk to him and say perhaps that there is an appearance of impropriety, Michael, that you need to avoid?
Well, I always thought that he should avoid that, but I remember Elizabeth Taylor told him after they accused him, said, "Michael, never," I don't know how she had it, but she meant that don't give up being with children because you love children just because people are telling these lies. So, but he still loved children. And I remember after the first trial, they kept the case open about 8 or 9 years and told the children, if this is true, to come and you can come down and talk about it with the policeman. Nobody ever came down because they knew it wasn't the truth.
What is it you miss most about Michael, Mrs. Jackson?
I can't say what I miss most, but I just miss him, period. I just miss him from not being here. I miss his voice. I miss his singing. Sometimes when we're around, he'd start to sing, and he'd end the song, and I want to ask him sometimes to sing, to sing it again, because I just loved his voice.
No parent is supposed to lose a child. I mean, it's not the way it's supposed to go. And yet it seems to me, Mrs. Jackson, that you have found some strength and solace in taking over care of his children. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes, it would. And having the children around helps me a lot. And a lot of times they always say, "Well, Daddy used to do it like this, Daddy this, Daddy that," and it brings a smile to my face because I know they're not forgetting him.
You've taken on another challenge, Mrs. Jackson, and that's more of a new business venture that you're involved in. Can you share it with me a little bit?
Yes. I have a flower collection, and I met the person that's doing it with me through a friend. And I love flowers, and he had told me that his family has had and been in flower business for many years. And I thought that was a very good idea and very good thing for us to do together. And here I am with a flower collection, and I love flowers anyway. I have them all around my yard and my house, everywhere.
How actively involved are you in this process? I know there are several different arrangements that you have designed. Is this something you spend a lot of time on?
Yes. Even before I met him, we used to give parties and have family things, and I used to arrange the flowers that we put on all the tables. I have a large family, so I have about 10 tables or more. And so I thought it was nice to join in since he gave me the offer.
Is this as much about taking advantage of a creative outlet and a business outlet, or which one is more important to you?
They both are.
I think with so much negativity surrounding your life over the last several years and the loss of your son, it may sound a little bit corny, but flowers are kind of something that can be purely positive for you, and it's something that's that can brighten almost anyone's day.
That's right. And I thought this would be nice too, because if you want to say something to a friend and you're not around them or not near them, you can always talk on the phone. But even flowers say even much more than just words.
So many people this week are going to be thinking about Mother's Day, a time where we have a chance to honor the roles that our mothers have played in our lives. When you think of your role as a mother and the 9 children, what are you most proud of?
Well, what gives me the most pride is I never had, I raised my children up to be good, law-abiding citizens. I never had any problems with them. And they're raising their children the same way. And I have a very large family now. And I'm just proud that they're all not giving me any problems. And they're law-abiding citizens. That brings joy to my life. I don't have to have any worries about that.
Well, let me just say that we're proud of the fact that you've spent some time with us this morning. We wish you all the best. Katherine Jackson, thank you very much.
Thank you.